take a quick full life cycle view of managing orders, we're just going to use a sales order as an example. I'm going to go into my customer order entry and I'm going to pull up order 3000. And on order 3000, I can see, first of all, just looking at the order, I get a quick look at what my customer's credit limit is on this order. So this is very handy when I'm taking a new order, because as soon as I put that customer ID in, I can see, are they above their credit limit? Are they in good standing? And here I can see in my demo database, everybody's going to be over their credit limit because nobody pays me. And over on the right-hand side, I get some other good information. Now I'm looking at the part view. So whichever part on whichever line on the order I'm looking at, I can see a quick inventory view of what's on hand, what's in demand for that item, how much is actually available for MRP, because I may have some in other sites that are not available to the particular site that I'm working in, and so on. Down here is another great feature. I can see, just looking at that line item, what my current gross profit and projected costs are going to be for that item. So I can see that my profit so far is good, but it may be going down. This job isn't complete yet. It's still in process. But I can see what my estimated cost is versus my projected cost, which projected cost is basically how much work I've put in it and materials I've put in it. So labor and materials already applied to it, plus what's still estimated remaining, and that comes out to my projected cost. So I can see my sell price. So far I'm below my sell price, which is good, but the closer I get to that, obviously my profit will start moving down. But I can see all of that right here on the screen, so it's real good information right off the bat just looking at this order. The other thing I can do here now is go drill into that actual job and look at it. So remember earlier we had looked at an engineering master, which shows our bill of material and our routing all in one. Here is that same engineering master, but converted to a work order. So it's in process, and I can see it's work order 3000. There's my part number that I'm building, a quantity of 10. And looking at this, I know that my yellow cards again are my material, my blue cards are my operations, and my darker blue or slightly darker blue is my outside services that I need. In this case, this is heat treating. And then I have my sub-assemblies over here. The other great thing I see in this visual representation is statuses. This dark blue line going across my yellow card, for example, that means that that yellow card or that material, this flat stock, has been issued 100% because the line goes all the way across. Same thing with these operations. The labor operations are complete in the cutoff saw and the brake. And I can see that it's about halfway complete through the drill operation. So just looking at this, I know where this job is. If I come over and look at my sub-assemblies, same thing. I can tell that half the material has been issued of this round stock. It hasn't all been issued. And about a quarter of that cutoff saw has been completed so far. Same thing over here on my other sub-assembly. The other thing I see here are these red outlines on the card. That means that somebody is currently logged into this job. And I can easily see that information if I simply go up to my info and take a look at my labor tickets. I can see all labor tickets when I first open this. I can look at individual labor tickets by clicking on each card, so I can see all the labor that's been applied to each one of these operations. Or I might say, only show me my in-process labor tickets. So if I'm looking at, in this case, I can see that there's a red outline, so I know I have it in process there, and I can see Allison Peterman is currently logged into that. I can see that Andy Rothwell is logged into this, and then I have Bill Douglas over here. So great information to be able to see all of that labor information and how much time is spent and how much quantity they've done. Same thing with materials. I can drill into my materials that have been issued and see what quantities have been issued of each of the materials. The other great thing here is costs. Here I can see what my ongoing costs real time are. So I have an estimated, which is what I told it originally in that engineering master. I estimated that the material should cost this much and my labor times should be this much with setup and run times. And if I want to drill that open, I just click on that estimated header or column, and it drills it open. So now that I can break it down into unit cost and then see what my material, labor, burden, and service costs are. And then I can compare that to what my actuals are. Even though this job is not complete, I can still see at current state where I'm having problems. And I'm looking for these reds here, and I can see I have several red areas where I have variances. So I can drill in and find out, why is it taking longer than what I estimated there? And the job is not done, so it gives me a chance to react prior to the job being completed. Maybe I can help curtail some of that variance before it's completed. Back to my customer order, the other thing I can do here is go and look at the document lifecycle. So here's where I take it a full 360, and I can see that it shows me the life cycle of this entire order. So it started with quote 3,000. That quote turned into sales order 3,000. They don't have to necessarily be the same ID, by the way. We just do that in a demo database, so it's easy to understand. And then it had a work order associated with that line item for 3,000. And just to show how deep this can go, I'm going to just pull up sales order 02008, because this has multiple lines on it. And if we look at the same thing, or if we look at our document lifecycle, here we can see it from quote 1005. There's my turned into that sales order 2008. I can see it's closed, and it has a status bar across it. Here are the 3 line items that had work orders allocated to those line items, so I know the actual work order that produced those lines. And I can see one of those was canceled void before it was completed. So I might dig into that. I can see the shipment, the pack list, turned into this invoice 6003 MFG. And then I can see the payments for that invoice. And at any one of these stages, I can double click and drill into any one of these pieces of information if I wanted to find out more. This is great because at any stage, whether I'm at the payment, the invoice, depending on what I know, maybe a customer call says, hey, I have this invoice number, but I don't know what order. So if I'm in invoice entry and I enter that invoice and I do the same thing and go to document lifecycle, it will pull up this same lifecycle where from the invoice ID, I could see everything else associated with it. So I know what order it came from. I know what quote it came from. I know the jobs that produced it. So just great information to be able to tie everything together there. Thing that I have, we showed that cost screen on the work order itself. Here's that detail grid of my estimated versus projected, and this shows a very similar information to that, except I'm seeing all of my work orders here. So this is great information because now I'm looking for those variances and I can filter or sort on that field. So, maybe I want to bring all my negative variances up to the top and find out what's going on with those. And I can dig into those and maybe say, I don't want to look at my closed ones. That's already happened. That, I do want to investigate that. But if I want to see what's going on right now on the floor, look at my released orders only and see the ones that have variances going on, because I still might be able to help out with that before the job is finished. So all just great information, the way that all ties together.